So for our 7th grade curriculum, we actually only have 4 units. The first 2 we read whole class texts, and the second 2 we actually do book clubs, where my students get to choose what they would like to read and have a little more freedom with their reading experience. Now, we start off the year right away. We read this book called The False Prince. Now, to be honest, I didn't think I would like this book. It's really just not my cup of tea. It's a fantasy novel set in medieval time, all about princes. Just not my thing. But after reading it with my students and really diving into this text, it ended up being one of the most memorable parts of the year. A great way to start off the year. This is just an exciting book, not too challenging for my students. It's like a good, stepping stone into what we're going to tackle this year. What's nice about it, too, is that you can apply a lot of the literary terms and elements that you talk about with your students to this novel, including flashbacks and foreshadowing, direct and indirect characterization, the different types of conflict. And what's cool is that my students really feel like they can relate to the main character, and I think that's what keeps them invested. A lot of my students went on to read the 2nd and 3rd books of this trilogy and said it's some of the best things I've ever read. So this was highly recommended by my students. Right now we're in the middle of our science fiction unit where we're studying dystopian societies, and this is one of our book club options. So my kids have 10 different books that they can pick from, and we spend a whole day exploring these books so that they, make the right choice of what they would like to read. But the 3 that really stand out to me as great picks for my students, the first one includes The Compound. And this book, there's no other way to describe it other than creepy and disturbing, which makes it a page-turner for them. Now, seriously, I finished this book in a day. It brings up this mystery at the beginning that I just felt like I really had to know. I had to know how it ended. And you see one of the main characters go from, like a hero to a villain by the end. And seeing that transformation and that resolve, it really was as suspenseful, as a scary movie. So this is a big hit with my kids right now. Another big hit is Legend. Now this is a smorgasbord of everything my students like. It is, it has action and adventure, it's suspenseful, it has crime mystery to it, it has romance to it. 2 main characters, both very relatable for my students. This is the definition of a page-turner for them. Now, some of my students actually finished this book already. We're halfway through our book clubs, but already done with it. Went on to buy the 2nd one themselves and are reading that now for their book club. So they are literally doing twice as much work as everyone else and are super into it. So to me, that's a good sign. Another option that my students seem to really enjoy is Uglies. Now, I think Uglies is immediately judged as being a girl book. I mean, from the cover and from the title, but don't let that fool you. This is actually one of my students' favorite books, even male students. I had a male student, when we went over these options, come on, they're middle schoolers, so they're kind of strange. But what he did, when I was talking about this book, he raised his hand, then stood up and said, "This is the best book I've ever read, and the best book I will ever read." That's how intense his recommendation was. And when I walk around during our book club times and I'm listening to the conversation, it seems consistent that the groups that are reading Uglies have superior conversation over the other groups. And I think that's because it is very applicable to our study of a dystopian society, but also very relevant for my students. It seems to reflect their experiences with their peers more than some of the other books, so there's a lot for them to talk about. Now, those are just 4 options. I could talk endlessly about the books that my students are reading, but I think those are 4 perfect picks for anyone's bookshelf because they are relevant, relatable, exciting, and also have that literary impact that will make it a memorable book for them and applicable to what you're studying in your class. Thanks.